What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hines Show. Today is July 19th, 2021, and in this video, I'm going to be continuing my series of doing season predictions for each NFL team. First video was of the Arizona Cardinals. This is the second one. This will be of the Atlanta Falcons, and the Atlanta Falcons, they bring in a new head coach, and Arthur Smith. He was previously the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, and one downfall of the Falcons offseason. Speaking of the Titans, they actually traded Julio Jones to Tennessee for some draft picks. In the offseason, they lost running back Todd Gurley, but they did bring in running back from Carolina, Mike Davis. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Falcons perform this season. One of their biggest additions was draft pick Kyle Pitts, arguably the best draft prospect in the 2021 draft. The only huge issue for me is for the Atlanta Falcons is their pass defense. They were last season in pass defense. And I just think, Matt Ryan's kind of towards the end of his career. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So week one, they play against the Philadelphia Eagles and actually winning this game here. I think they're capable of beating Philadelphia. I'm not really sold on Jalen Hurts or the Eagles at all. I think this is definitely a winnable game for the Falcons. And start off the season nice, going 1-0. The following week, they take on division rival, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I just do not see them winning this game. I think Tampa Bay is definitely going to be one of the best teams in the league this season. I wouldn't be shocked if they had the best record in the league. The Falcons, to me, are not going to be a great team this year. And the fact that you're playing the defending champs in their own stadium, it's going to be nearly impossible to beat no matter what team you are this season. So I definitely have the Atlanta Falcons losing here in week two. They also have another road game in week three, and they take on the New York Giants. I have them losing this game, but I think this is one of those games where, it seems like every single year the Falcons will have a couple games they lose when they shouldn't, but they'll also have maybe a game or two where maybe they shouldn't necessarily win and they pull off an upset. I have them losing here, but I wouldn't be shocked if maybe we saw an upset win here for the Atlanta Falcons, because the Giants have a really nice team. They had an amazing off season, making some nice moves. Getting Kadarius Toney, getting Kenny Golladay from Detroit, but Daniel Jones really has to be good this season, or the Giants won't be good. I feel like the Giants have put all the pieces there for Jones, but he just has to play good and everything. But I think, this could be one of those games where we see maybe Atlanta get an upset win. But I do have them losing here in week three. As we continue here in week four, they have a home game against the Washington football team. I had them losing this game. Washington's defense and their offense, they got some new offensive pieces like Curtis Samuel and quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think it's just going to be too much for the Atlanta Falcons. Having a great defense. Atlanta's offense is all right, but it's kind of inconsistent at times. I just think Washington's defense will be too much for Atlanta's offense in this one. In week five, they take on the Jets in Atlanta. And actually having winning this game, I think the Jets could shock a few people this season. Wouldn't be surprised if they had maybe 5 or 6 wins, something like that. But with, the not playing many games, for Zach Wilson, him being a rookie, and the majority of New York's players being rookies and guys who have not played in the league for a long time, I have the Falcons winning this one, and especially at home. I think that ups their chances of beating the Jets here in week five. That moves their record up to 2-3. So go to week six here. Week six happens to be their bye, so heading into the bye week, they are 2-3. Not bad at all when you really look at their schedule. Week 7, they take on the Dolphins. I have them losing this game. The Dolphins, you look at their roster, they probably have one of the more underrated rosters in the NFL. And I don't see them winning this game, especially when it being in Miami. I think, they're going to be one of those maybe surprise teams we see in the NFL this season who will be one of the better teams in the league. As we continue here in week 8, however, I had them losing again to a division rival, the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, to me, I think they're going to be the most surprising team in the NFL, along with the Vikings and the Bengals. I have Atlanta losing, but I would not be shocked at all if the Falcons were to win this game. I'm just really, really high on the Panthers, all their additions they've made. Robbie Anderson, they have DJ Moore, who's extremely underrated, Terrace Marshall Jr., McCaffrey, bring in Sam Darnold from New York. I really like the Panthers this season. And I feel like with all the weapons Carolina has, passing-wise, options to throw to. And like I mentioned earlier, the Falcons had the worst pass defense in the league last season. I think their offense will be too much for the Falcons defense. And this is kind of a similar situation here in Week 9. They take on the Saints in New Orleans. I have them losing this game. I feel like the Saints' passing attack will be too much for Atlanta's pass defense. I really think Winston will surprise some people this season. And as we continue here in Week 10 in Dallas, losing this game as well. That amazing comeback last game, with the Falcons and Cowboys. This is another game. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Gallup. You have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. Prescott's coming back from an injury. I think this is another game where you can't really depend on Atlanta's defense. Some of these games, in this stretch, the teams are playing against, their offense is just too good. And it's going to be too much for them to handle. So just looking at this past couple of games here, they have a really hard stretch of games. They take on the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Saints, the Cowboys. All those teams are playoff teams. And as we continue here in Week 11, this is another playoff team in the New England Patriots. I have them losing this game. I just don't see the Patriots losing this game, whether it's Cam Newton starting or Mac Jones, but I would figure it'd be Mac Jones. I feel like the Patriots, they're hungry to prove some people wrong this season for, missing the playoffs last year. They had so many additions, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Matthew Judon, all those guys. It's going to be, I feel like these games where I've had, Atlanta losing some, it's just so many teams just have much better rosters than Atlanta. And some of these games are just going to be super, super hard for them to win. Here in Week 12, I actually have the Atlanta Falcons winning a game here in Jacksonville, moving the record to 3-8. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think they're going to be a year or two away from actually being good. I think they'll have maybe 3-4 wins this season. But getting back on the winning track for the Falcons here in Week 12 was always good, with that hard stretch of games. If you win 2 of those games, I think that's very, very successful. We're just tuning in, doing a live video on YouTube of the Atlanta Falcons 2021 season predictions. So Week 12, that was the win against the Jaguars. Week 13, however, they take on the Buccaneers, and I cannot see them beating the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are too good. They arguably had the best roster in the league. They have the best quarterback of all time coming back. And, I don't really think I have to explain this one too much. The Falcons definitely had the worst roster in their division, while the Buccaneers have probably the best roster in the whole NFL. So that moves them to 3-9. Week 14, they take on Carolina again. I have them losing to Carolina both games, and I would not be shocked at all if Atlanta were to win one of those games, but I think it's possible. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if Carolina would, sweep the Atlanta Falcons this year, but I wouldn't be shocked, however, either if the Falcons were to win one of them against them. So it moves their record to 3-10 here, and it's not looking good. And a situation like this, it really looks like maybe heading into the next 2022 draft, maybe we could see the Falcons draft a quarterback of the future. Week 15 at the 49ers, that's a hard place to play. Their roster, it's going to be nearly impossible to win. They have all those guys coming back from injuries. I just think it'll be too much here. So that makes them 3-11. Week 16, however, they get another win, and that is against the Detroit Lions, improves their record to 4-11. The Lions have an underrated team, but I do have the Falcons winning this game. Week 17, they take on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and that is an extremely hard place to play. The way Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs performed last season, you can make a case they're the best quarterback and wide receiver duo in the NFL right now. With the uncertainty of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. But this game, I think, going to be too much here. And the last game of the season, they take on the New Orleans Saints at home, and I have them losing this game here, make their record 4-13. And I know they had some nice additions like Kyle Pitts and Mike Davis and other guys like that. Had a few nice draft picks, but their schedule is so hard. I mean, the Buccaneers are defending champs. The Saints were in the playoffs last season, and the Panthers, to me, are going to be the most improved team heading into the 2021 season. All those three teams I just said, the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Panthers, in my opinion, all three of those teams are 100% playoff caliber teams. We know Tampa Bay is getting in. We know more than likely New Orleans is getting in. And Carolina, to me, I just really think they are the underdog team this season. That's why I have them getting swept by Carolina, just their offensive weapons, and they have some nice players on defense as well. But when you're playing on a division like this, it's just, if you're able to get 2 division wins, I mean, that's really kind of considered successful, especially a team who drafted in the top 5 last season, like the Atlanta Falcons. But if they were in a different division, maybe like the AFC East or NFC East, NFC North, some division like that, I would definitely have a lot more wins on the Atlanta Falcons schedule. It's just the fact that they're playing in such a hard division. That's why I do not have them having many wins at all, just 4-13. But their ceiling, in my opinion, is 7 wins. I mentioned there's a couple games a year where I think, the Falcons maybe have a couple of upset wins. But at the same time, they have a couple of upset losses. Maybe some games they should not necessarily lose to. So my ceiling for Atlanta is 7-10, which to me, I think that's pretty successful considering you look at their roster and the great teams they have in their division. And their floor, I have 3-13. Falcons, they've been decent for the past several years, but we always know they blow leads all the time, and they're one of the teams who lose games when they really shouldn't. So the ceiling is 7-10. The floor is 3-14. But their overall record, in my opinion, I have them going 4-13. Let me know in the comments what you think. This record prediction, if you think that's too many wins, too little wins, or whatever. But thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, and subscribe to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you all next time on the Sports 200.